Hey, this is Riley, host of the Superhuman Podcast. At Superhuman, we interview health experts as well as other peak performers on how to optimize their health, supercharge your performance, and unlock your biological code so you can do more with less. Do you want to fix annoying health issues slowing you down, become a productivity machine, have genius ideas pop into your mind, stop feeling so stressed, build better relationships, and generate more income? Optimizing your inner machinery can do just that. Visit www.peakperform.io to learn more. My guest today is Zach Michael. Zach is a self-mastery coach that helps entrepreneurs master their shadow and embody their highest potential. With years of experience and a proven method for reprogramming beliefs, he empowers entrepreneurs to thrive in purpose, prosperity, and impact. Zach's approach has transformed countless lives, helping entrepreneurs achieve lasting success and freedom. Zach, welcome to the show.
Thank you, brother. Good to be here.
Yeah, I really appreciate you coming on today because I know how important the subconscious mind is, and I've seen your work in action. It's just incredible the results you're able to get for other people in just such a short, condensed period of time when they might be trying like drinking alcohol, maybe taking pills, or just different ways to cope that aren't always the most healthy. And that's where, coming to the first question here with the mind and specifically the subconscious mind, it's so powerful. So could you maybe tell people like, what is a subconscious mind and why does it hold the key to self-mastery?
Good question. I think that the unconscious mind is part of the key to walking the path of self-mastery. There are other elements, but the unconscious mind I see it as a way that the mind has been designed to be used. So I don't see them as like two separate entities that exist independently of themselves, conscious mind and unconscious mind. I see the unconscious mind as a way that the one mind can be used to run certain processes automatically without your conscious awareness or intention, right? So that could be bodily functions, behaviors, right? Anytime you have a behavior, a habit, you can be certain that it's something that is taking place within the unconscious mind.
Okay, cool. And I guess you've been on this journey about 14 years now. You've probably seen it all, read all about it. What made you like what your model is today and in terms of how you help people? How did that develop or come to be? Was it a very conscious process? Did you find you took bits and pieces until it finally developed into what it is today? Was it more intuitive? What brought you to what it is today?
Good question. It's always evolving. It is continuously evolving. So I started my journey, like you said, around 14 years ago in 2010. And, I would say the underlying driving force that has influenced the way that I've navigated this own journey of self-education has been efficiency. So there's so many different ways that one can work with the mind, work with consciousness. And underlying my approach has always been, or my curiosity, you could say, has always been, how could we do things in the most efficient way possible, right? And so I've looked for, which is what has led me to learning rapid change techniques and modalities, ways that you could imprint in the unconscious, ways that you could change your consciousness with the least amount of, everything includes willingness and intention, but with the least amount of what feels as though it's effort. So efficiency. And so that's why I've always looked at approaches through that lens of efficiency. Does it kind of check that box for me? Yeah, because people want to experience change, but when they undergo something, in the back of their minds, I think oftentimes there are people feeling, okay, how much is this going to require of my time, my effort, my energy, right?
Yeah, and I think as entrepreneurs, they're trying to get, make the most amount of money with the lowest amount of effort. I mean, there's the crazy ones out there that just love hustle for the sake of hustle. Yeah. But most of them, like you're saying, they're looking for that efficiency. And I think any change that someone's looking to go through, that's going to bring up a lot of that uncomfort. So if you can make that process more easy and effortless for them, then that's probably, one of the most important things that they could take on. And, I'm sure they're uncomfortable or skeptical if they never even explored this type of thing before. But once they actually feel it, do you find they start making more money in their business? They're working less hours with greater output and that type of thing?
Yeah. So, my main audience, you could say, that I work with these days are entrepreneurs, online entrepreneurs. But the ways in which they are impacted, or the areas of their life that they apply the teachings, are not always having to do with their business specifically. I enjoy working with entrepreneurs and business owners because I am one myself. And I
Mm,
find that entrepreneurs tend to be people that are self-starters.
yeah.
They tend to uh, take a certain level of responsibility with their life in general, right? So I enjoy working with entrepreneurs because they're people that are going to be usually well qualified. They're going to be great students. Uh, so remind me your question because we're talking about entrepreneurship.
Yeah. So just working with the mind,
Yeah.
I guess for entrepreneurs, why is it the most important thing for an entrepreneur to start with? I mean, maybe he's making five
Okay.
to $10,000 a month. Why is the mind so important, just in terms of like efficiency, in all areas of his life?
Well, everything in your life is a consequence of mind because everything is mind. So everything is downstream of the way in which you use your mind. So if you think about it, let's just take it down to the most basic routine habits of your daily living.
Mm,
Everything that you engage in and the way in which you engage in it is a result of the quality of your mind. And that
mm,
includes your beliefs and belief systems, your thought patterns, your self talk, your emotional states of being. And so, you can give someone or a group of people the same framework. You can give them the strategy and all the mechanics and say, okay, go follow this strategy, go implement exactly what it is. The success that one has in their implementation and how they implement the strategy will depend on the quality of their mind.
mm.
Yeah. So in other words, if you have a like let's say a high degree of certainty or belief in your ability to achieve a result when you
Yep.
follow a strategy, then most likely you're going to achieve the result that you expected going in because maybe you
Right.
have, let's say, experience or background, or you go, yeah, I've done that a million times. I know how to do it, so I
Sure.
can do it and execute. Or on the flip, you go, I doubt my ability to achieve success doing this thing, but let's do it. Let's try it. And then you go about it and you do it, but underlying, you're not really feeling certain in your ability
Mhm.
or the likelihood that you can achieve the result because your unconscious is going, no, or maybe we were
Yeah.
told growing up, unlikely. No one in my family's ever done it
Yeah.
before, whatever the case may be. And so that unconscious will always override whatever the conscious intention is. It tends to
Mm.
override it, right? So it's all just downstream of the mind.
Yeah. And so that's really interesting because then you can start to look at the root cause of where that's coming from. Like a lot of entrepreneurial self-sabotaging behaviors can be traced back to the childhood, which, they may not even be conscious of. And so when you start working with these people, it's like a visceral sensation of feeling lighter and just going throughout your day in a, fun, efficient way while being able to maximize your output. I think they just all relate in tandem with each other.
Yeah.
And one thing I'm really curious about is, the buzzword you're seeing a lot in the entrepreneurial space is manifestation. There's a lot of different influencers who are coming out and sharing more about this. So regarding manifestation, I've always been curious, is it because you are being able to take more action as a result, you're able to manifest those new situations into your life? Or is it those random consequences where like the phone just rings and it leads to some crazy business opportunity that could lead to, to monetary success or something? Could you say, like in your own words, what you think manifestation is and how can we get more of that in our life?
Well, I think that it's a great question, man. I think that we're constantly manifesting. So one of the things that I teach people is to learn to recognize everything that you experience in your life in any given moment, whether it be a thought, a feeling state, an event, and the way in which you perceive that event,
Mm,
a result in your business, a pattern in your relationships. Everything that you experience is your own creation
mm,
or manifestation. And I think that oftentimes, because people aren't really taught what manifestation is, they tend to put manifestation on a pedestal. And it becomes this big word, manifestation. And it seems to carry with it this kind of aura of mystery and mysticism and magic. Manifestation, right?
mhm,
Inherently, there's that kind of energy built into the word.
totally.
And, and I think that people can become more effective creators and manifestors when they take that word and that energy off of this pedestal and recognize that manifestation is not something that is only for certain people or very rich people or whatever it may be. Everyone, regardless of your current status in life, is already manifesting exactly the direct reflection of what is within their consciousness. And so I want people to first have a realization that leads to them being empowered towards the fact that they're already a manifester. That's how I see manifestation. It's you're living in constant, ceaseless manifestation.
Yeah, it's like a moment by moment consciousness that is always unfolding, whether that's going your way or not going your way. It's not necessarily a destination you have to get to. Like I'll start manifesting once, I'm making $10,000 in my business. It's happening all the time. So once you realize you're already there, then you can actually start doing the process.
Yeah, you can start to because I find like this to me, when I first realized this, it was first of all, it was a massive insight and wake up call. And it was also a massive relief because prior to that insight, I thought, well, others are so good at manifesting. Why is it so hard for me? Or why is it easier for others and harder for others? And then when I realized that I was manifesting all along and there was nothing wrong with me and that I was creating everything that I experienced. And all I needed to do was adjust the way I was using my consciousness. I became I took on feelings of empowerment. I felt suddenly like I was at cause and not as though I was a victim of, circumstance.
And for people to get to that realization that they're already manifesting, that sounds like it's a level of awareness. So is that sort of the first step of that process for anyone who's new to this space or they're wanting to do it properly, to have the awareness that they're doing that and then find out ways to make that manifestation happen in the right direction for them?
Yeah, I first, my goal is for people to get to a place of empowerment. If you want to create transformation in your life, whatever kind of transformation you desire, it comes first through owning your life experience and you being at the cause of your life experience. Until one owns themselves, when I say owns, I mean takes full responsibility of having created unconsciously everything that they're experiencing, they won't be able to create change because they're the ones creating in the first place. So if you want to create something different than what you've created up until now, then you have to first realize that you've been the creator. And that requires the end of denial. Because when you hear someone, and people will indicate this to you where they are in their consciousness just based on the language that they use. And so if they're blaming others in any way, shape, or form for how they're experiencing their own reality, it simply indicates that they haven't come to a place of that realization that they are responsible. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with experiencing different levels of consciousness, right? We came here for that reason. But simply put, Riley, it's getting to that first place of empowerment that I'm at cause. Until someone's there, they're not ready to create something different in their life.
Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense. And for some people who are, maybe feeling down, business or life isn't going their way, I've heard other people like Joe Dispenza talk about you have to change your state. And when you change your state, then you can become aware of these things. And your RAS, your reticular activation system, can start to see these types of things. Are you a fan, a believer, or an advocate in changing your state first? In most cases, to sort of get that wheel spinning, for that manifestation to happen.
Yeah. Because like you mentioned manifestation, and so state is an example of manifestation. The state you're in and experiencing, thinking, feeling is a state that you're manifesting. And so, at the beginning, you asked about the unconscious mind. If you're experiencing a state of being that is of suffering in any way, then it's simply a state that you're manifesting unconsciously. Yeah.
Got it.
And if you want to, and because everything is a consequence of your state, your consistent state, right? That's, I think, the caveat to understand your consistent state.
Yeah.
Because we can't just, thankfully there's a bit of a buffer time here in this third dimension
Mm.
where your thoughts do not instantly manifest in front of you. So when you notice an unconscious a state of negativity, you're simply taking responsibility for the fact that this is an unconscious creation. And if I want my reality or my experience of reality to change, then I simply must choose to create a new state of mind and body. And that's like the beginning of applying manifestation as I see it.
Yeah. That's really, yeah, that's very, enlightening because there's a lot that you can do with that then, and I think, we have on average between 60 and 70,000 thoughts per day, and a lot of those are just automatic from days prior, none of them actually come true, but if you were to flip the script on those and most of those became in your favor, just every micro moment of each day multiplied that compounds over days, weeks, months, years, you can go in a drastically different direction, like two yachts going one way, just 1 degree difference over time, it just creates such a different leverage point there.
Yeah,
And
that's
I
it.
guess I'm very curious, like your day to day, maybe it's more intuitive, but do you have day to day habits that you like to implement to help with the manifestation process? Or would you recommend any specific day to day habits that entrepreneurs should follow that you have found that across the board just universally work for them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. As far as my own personal application of these teachings, it comes down to, for me, practicing being more conscious. For Riley, I don't know if you're familiar with the map of consciousness or the scale of consciousness.
Yeah, like Frederick Doxson and Power versus Force.
That's right. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so these are all just levels of different energies.
Mm.
And we can experience these energies through the emotions that we're feeling. And each energy will have a correlating thought as well, and action and behavior. So my goal, my priority in my own life is to commit to certain ways of using this now moment, using time in a way that cultivates greater conscious awareness of the now moment so
Mm.
that I can utilize the now moment more consciously as opposed to unconsciously.
Mm.
Okay. So this is something that can be done. You can think of it as like a waking meditation, a
Mhm.
style of meditation where you are engaging in your day-to-day life, whatever you may be doing, and you, instead of just being on autopilot, you are remaining consciously aware of everything as much as you can that is taking place within that moment. When I say
Mm.
taking place, I mean what you are perceiving, what you are aware of. And instead of defaulting to your regular thought patterns or perceptions, you're choosing to remain conscious of the moment, as simple as it sounds. Yeah. So it's effectively training yourself to use your awareness more consciously. So that becomes more second nature to you.
Yeah, it sounds a lot just like building a muscle in the gym. At the beginning, it's really painful and you're going to find your mind so scattered, but then after, it just becomes a lot more effortless where it almost just turns on with, you know, just a shift in consciousness that you can bring through. So
Yeah.
I think it's something day to day that everyone can carry, whether it's on a sales call or walking their day to day or building their next product or a sales funnel. I mean, conscious in all those moments. Yeah, it'll totally change things. And speaking from experience too, and just seeing a lot of your work, it's definitely affected my own life.
Very cool. Very cool.
Cool, Zach. Well, any last words of wisdom for our listeners today before we close things off here?
Well, I think on that note of raising your consciousness, because for me that's really the North Star, is raising your consciousness. I
Hmm.
see all expressions of suffering as a reflection of some level of consciousness. And so for those listening today that may be experiencing, maybe let's call it a dark night of the soul or a really challenging time, or someone that just wants to transform their life and get more out of their life, recognize that you already have everything within you in order to make any kind of creation or transformation in your life. And it comes down to the way in which you're using your attention. You are creating, and sometimes this is tough to hear for people that are still really stuck in suffering, patterns of suffering. you are creating the way in which you experience and perceive the events, the relationships, and the patterns in your life through the ways in which you place your attention. And so I just want to plant that seed for people that it can be as simple as learning to use your attention in new ways to create new patterns of life experience.
Love it, Zach. Definitely learned a lot here, and I'm sure our audience did too. If people want to learn more about you, where can they visit?
Yeah, right now social is the best place to find me. So at Mr. Zach Michael on Instagram, it's at Mr. Zach Michael, and the same on YouTube as well, Mr. Zach Michael.
Perfect. And we'll put all that down in the show notes below. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming on today.
Excellent.
And
thank you. Thank you, Riley.
Thank you guys so much. Hope you enjoyed the show. If you'd like to learn more about how you can improve your performance and ultimate health and get our 7 steps to becoming superhuman guide, visit peakperform.io. Until next time.